Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons, and let's get into it. Make sure to subscribe. We're trying to hit 15,000 subscribers until the end of the year. And yeah guys, let's get into it. So today we are testing it out. The Block 10 or the normal F-16A, it's called like just F-16A in the game. And the F-16A ADF, which is the Block 15 variant. They are both very similar. With some minor changes in the MatAWG, and in real life we had some changes in the radar systems and other minor things like that. But in the game, it is basically just the MatAWG and the weapon loadouts, okay? So, for now at least. And yeah, at first here I was actually dying like Jesus, I was really dying. Mainly because this was my first dogfight with an F-16. I mean, I was getting used to these speeds. As you see here, I'm turning quite fast early on, and then later I get the proper speeds. And as I kind of predicted, I mean, it's not a prediction, but still, the fourth generation is kind of an era of aircraft that energy management is more important than basically anything in a dogfight. It is just a different concept of it, but it is more important than other generations even for aircraft. It's really weird even that how much important it is energy management in an aircraft such as this. You really need to maintain the proper speeds to get the better turn rate. I mean, this is a fact for basically, I mean, it was opening flaps and breaking the flaps and the aircraft was dying. I mean, what was I doing? But still, it is basically the gaps of speed that you need to maintain are very important. You see that in other aircraft, in older generation aircraft, but it's not as important as this one, to be honest. It is just kind of crazy how much it matters. It really does matter a lot, and you really need to be careful. Here we have the third one that was the longest one of them all that we did. And here I started to notice that the aircraft turns a lot better above 500 kilometers per hour and below like 650, 700. It has kind of a sweet spot in there that is just amazing. It really does go for a turn. But once you go below that speed range or above that speed range, and I mean, look at this. I mean, it wasted all my ammo, and now for the whole dogfight I didn't have ammo, but yeah. These kind of speeds, they're just so important because if you go below that, the plane becomes a brick. If you go above that, the plane becomes a brick as well. And yeah, it's a problematic thing. And talking a little bit about the Block 10 and the Block 15, here we are testing with 20 minutes, both of them with 20 minutes and just 2 A9Ls, and we cannot do head-ons, okay? It is just a gentleman's agreement to basically you can only win in a checkmate when you are on the 6 of the enemy, because a head-on is just a luck thing most of the time. So yeah, I mean, involves another, I mean, it's not that important. A head-on, who wins a head-on is not that important. So we're not doing head-ons, okay? Just for you to know. And yeah, talking a little bit about the Block 10 and Block 15, I mean, the main thing that you will feel on the aircraft is the larger elevators that the Block 15 has. So technically it can pull a little bit more AOA, but it's barely like anything. It really is basically nothing. Most of the time here, it ends up being the fault of the pilot of killing a target or dying. Basically all the time. All the kills that we got from each other, it was all the time when I did a mistake or he did a mistake, and it was just impossible to have a proper look. I mean, sometimes you kind of have a situation that you can see. I mean, the Block 15 can sometimes have more drag depending on the situation, I guess, or maybe sometimes the Block 10. So the changes are so minor that they're kind of irrelevant. The main thing about the difference between these two aircraft, if the radars still are the same for a while, I mean, if they remain with the same radar, that can be changed because the ADF, as I said, had a different radar. So I don't know if that is changed. I mean, it will be way better. Obviously, he already has the BVR, so he will be even better at BVR. And the normal A, the Block 10, would basically be a little bit lacking on that aspect even more, you know. But obviously you have the air-to-ground capabilities on the Block 10 in the game, and in the ADF you don't. So there is that as well. So it depends very much on the way that you want to play the game. If you want air battles, the ADF is going to be better no matter what. Doesn't matter if the Block 10 can do a certain specific thing better. The ADF will be better in the air battles, you know, and the normal way, the Block 10 will be better on the air to ground. So that's the main difference, right? It's really difficult to feel a difference between each other, but it's still fun to fly it. And I need to do more of these dogfights to actually get used to these aircraft, because they are completely different from anything else. They are not swing wings. I was actually very much used to it, especially in dogfights. I mean, to be honest, the most aircraft that I was flying before this patch was swing wings aircraft, so the MiG-23, the F-14. And when I did not fly one of those aircraft, I was normally flying the MiG-21 or something like that. So, or an aircraft that doesn't turn very well, like the F-4. So I was kind of like out of shape, right, in these like fixed wing aircraft. It's just weird, but I was a little bit. And as I said, energy management, it is a major thing here, and you really need to be careful with that. So combining these two, you ended up doing a lot of mistakes. At the end of the video, we will see that eventually I got the hang of it and was pulling the scissors and trying to make them he actually lose on the scissors. So it depends on the pilot. It always will depend on the pilot, especially in the Block 10, because you don't have the BVR. So yeah, of course you have the missiles, you have the 6 missiles, but it will depend very much more on your own piloting, because even though IR missiles, they are, I mean, only point and shoot, you need to learn where to shoot them and stuff, and then you go for dogfight. And in the ADF, you just need to learn, not just, but you need to learn how to do BVR. But then after the shot of the missile, you just need to try to maintain the lock until the target is hit. So you have more tools to actually kill other aircraft, right? And the Block 10 has less tools of that kind. So in a normal battle, yeah, it is going to be kind of a problematic thing, the Block 10, especially in the future. I still think that it is going to be okay, but once we start to get F-16Cs, F-15s, Su-27s, more advanced MiG-29s, other stuff like that, I really think that this version in specific, the Block 10, will be lacking a lot. Just for the sake of, you know, it's not going to get a better radar probably, or if it's going to get a better radar, it's not that much of an improvement. And the engine is going to remain the same, and the missiles, I mean, they can get the AIM-9L eventually, the AIM-9M, I mean, but it's still, even with that, I mean, it's just a missile, right? The performance of the aircraft, the radar will be the same, we will not have BVR. So it is a funny thing that this aircraft is actually very amazing now, but it tends to go to a kind of a box in the future, I think, and be kind of bad. Just due to that, of lacking some of these stuff. Because the ADF, even the ADF, they cannot carry the MRAMs, for example. I mean, even if you don't have a properly good radar, if you have the missile, I mean, the MRAM missile, it's going to be very good to fly it, right? So it is just one of those problems, right, with the aircraft. So it's funny, but still very cool. Here we can see one of the dogfights that we pulled, that I was just trying to pull the scissor and trying to maintain 6. I always draw a line behind the enemy and try to fly that line. So it's basically a perpendicular line. So I try to maintain a perpendicular flight path to him and just make him lose energy, and or try to go a little bit fast. If he loses energy, I will be controlling the situation. And if he's gaining any energy on me, he will eventually try to get out of the scissor, and I will get him, and I will be on his 6. So it is a very good tactic for you guys to actually try it out on dogfights. Just try to maintain the perpendicular flight path once you get in a rolling scissors, right? So yeah, here we have again the first turn, basically the same. He was pulling the same kind of speeds that I was. Of course, it's not a scientific way to deal with these situations, obviously, but it's still very, very much a very like similar kind of flight path. Here he damaged me, and eventually he just ignored the gentleman's agreement of head-ons and killed me with a head-on. But doesn't matter too much. He kind of forgot, I think, but still. So yeah, here I was trying to maintain the energy a little bit more on the turn, so I went down. And then I just was looking for the perpendicular line to his flight path. As you see, just going perpendicular. Trying to maintain the roll, trying to not overshoot the scissor or do anything else beyond making him lose energy, altitude, and controlling the fight. Obviously, I had to watch out for a very low pass here. And then we kind of, because of the ground, we kind of became a rate fight here. And yeah, it became just that. And then, yeah, here you kind of see that it's basically the same. Kind of the same. I tried to use, he was not using this, I think. But if you click takeoff and release takeoff, click takeoff flaps and release takeoff flaps, just bit by bit, very quickly, as you see I'm doing, it makes the slats go a little bit downwards, I think. And I think that's it. And it makes the aircraft turns a little bit better. So I think I gained on him due to that. So you can use that, but be careful to not break your flaps. It's very easy to break your flaps here. So yeah, very good kill. The penultimate one, same thing. So first of all, went downwards and tried to find his perpendicular flight path. As you see, he tried to cut me off there. I went for the perpendicular, and trying to maintain a perpendicular flight path will make him have more horizontal energy than me and basically overshoot the scissors. And with that, it makes me go on his 6, and then it's an easy kill. So yeah, just trying to control the fight here, not trying to pull anything crazy, just controlling where I am, making him nervous, you know, making him not knowing what I'm doing. If he was trying to do the same as me, we would be in a trouble. But yeah, as you see, go a little bit backwards, just trying to maintain the same level of distance that I was from his tail, just to make sure that I can control the fight. I'm not trying to dive in on him. If I do that, I will probably not be able to pull in this small of a circle of an basically a turn. And now I started to gain. As you see, he tried to escape a little bit, and then he tried to escape it like at all from all the things. I just maintained his flight path just to make sure that I gain the advantage here on his 6, and then it's easy. Try to use a little bit of the takeoff flaps again. So yeah, I made him a little bit nervous on the sense of not knowing what to do, and he just went further and gave me basically the 6. So yeah, I tried to do this again here, so I said to him that I was doing that, and then he tried to cut me off really effectively. So now he's actually doing basically the same that I am doing, cutting me off. As you see, perpendicular flight, it makes me work a lot harder than him, and he can pull a little bit more of a AOA sometimes. So yeah, as you see, he's doing the correct thing, doing the same thing that I was doing to him, he's doing to me, maintaining the perpendicular flight path, sometimes trying to go for it a little bit and then overshooting a little bit as well. And then I tried to go for the perpendicular again, but eventually I just died. I couldn't manage to escape that. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, and I see you guys on the next one. Let me know in the comments what you think is the best F-16.